Well, we had to have the confrontation in Duke Street. We had all sorts of meetings to make up our minds how we were going to approach this. There was a great deal of tension in the city at that time, and everybody was asking how this was all going to be played out. Now, I've told you about we had this ceremonial breaking of the barrier, but something more important happened after that. Every shirt factory in Derry, the girls came stumbling out and marched for civil rights. So my shirt factory, they came out. This whole city was marching. The whole city was involved in civil rights.
They were obviously in discussions with the police on how to handle the situation so that it would not break down into violence. So my memory is that there was a stage managed breach of the barrier by some of the committee, and that aspect of it passed off peacefully. And that's the kind of conflict management that you tend to get now, even in Northern Ireland today. You know, you try to negotiate between the police and marchers, or you try and have communities who are objecting to the activities of other communities talking with each other and so on.
The march of 16th of November had changed dramatically. The whole scene had changed dramatically. Here now I could see people who I knew before had never been political, people who would never have been involved, people who, from every walk of life. I mean, I can remember on a personal basis, you know, I can remember my mother and father being scared of me being involved. But I can remember now on the 16th of November, they weren't scared of me being involved, you know, and my father was involved. You know, my brother was there, who wouldn't have been there on the 5th of October. You know, and that whole family element of people who decided, no, we're going for this.
Well, I mean, yes. First of all, yes, I do remember them getting over the bridge. I remember them getting across the bridge. Number one, and I can remember the crowds, the thousands of crowds, and the community reckoned. I think my community reckoned at that stage that the Nationalists had mobilised, and this was the start of the push, and that the next stage would be IRA violence, and that was the feeling at that stage.
I mean, that was a clear, very early manifestation of the degree to which what had happened on October the 5th, and then the way it had been beamed into people's homes on the television, had created two things: a sort of broader sense of, particularly amongst the broader Catholic community, of sort of outrage, right, at what had happened, but also a sense of opportunity, because it's very clear that it had affected the calculations of the Wilson government, and they were putting more and more pressure on O'Neill to introduce reforms.
It looked good and you could see the sense, and it's very frustrating. But I think what it caused was a lot of anger and frustration that what they were doing was principled and good, but was it working? Because they were just being knocked back, pushed back all the time, both physically and in terms of justice and calling for their rights. And it seemed to be getting to a point where you think, or some people might have thought, we need to push harder here. Perhaps we need to start fighting back physically.